Hello, folks. I am back with another firearms review, and I am really having fun with this month. I designated this month as 45 ACP month, and I really like this particular firearm that I'm about to show you. I did trade in one of my 45s, and it was because it wasn't a bad firearm, but it was something that I couldn't work with or I wasn't using. So anytime I buy a firearm, it has to have a purpose. It has to be used and whatnot. Right now, I'm going to show you, as you can tell by the boxes up, it's a SIG, and it is going to be the SIG Sauer Spartan Carry. If some of you, if you know a thing or two about SIG's catalog, the reason why they call it the Spartan 2, I believe this is like the second generation of the first Spartan. The first Spartan was a little bit more gaudy, if I want to say. It was had like a bronze color, but it was really kind of like on the shiny side. And I wanted to deal with. I saw this one. I saw this on online watching shot show videos, and I pretty much got attached to it. Let me just do a safety check real quick, so I won't have anybody complaining. And there you go. You see the firearm is empty. And I'm going to give you some specs on this right away. The specs are, of course, it's a 45 ACP. It's also stainless steel frame and, well, frame and slide is stainless steel. Uh, it also has a distress Cerakote. We'll get back into that in a moment. Uh, and that's on the frame and slide as well. The barrel is carbon steel, and the barrel is carbon steel. I like the way they have that little hump in there that kind of assures a lockup, like like on some other firearms. It's becoming more prevalent now that they have this little hump that ensures lockup, and also the barrel length is also 4.2 inches. The overall length is going to be 7.7 inches. The overall width is going to be 1.4 inches, and the height is going to be 5.5 inches. The weight, like I said, this is a steel firearm from the frame and slide, is 35 ounces. And it does have a standard real 1913 Picatinny rail. Getting into this firearm, it's I like I said, I saw a video of this on Shot Show, and I was watching the Shot Show coverage, and I kind of like this firearm. Like I said, the first generation of the Spartan, it was kind of like brown with well, it was kind of like a bronze color, and it had like a, let's say, like a gold flake. Like there was a Spartan helmet that was facing you, and it had a 14 karat gold inlay, and it's a nice firearm, but it was a little bit too gaudy for my taste. I mean, like Kimber makes some firearms that are pretty much get on a little bit of the gaudy side, but this one was really blingy, and it was too blingy for me. Phil Streeter from, I believe he's the product manager of Sig Sauer. He stated that what they do with this, how if you notice, I want to bring this up a little closer. If you notice, it's kind of like distressed, like it's beat up a little bit. You can see right in here where I believe that's 25 lines per inch checkering, and you notice on the frame it's kind of like beat up. What they do is, Phil Streeter stated that they take the slide and frames, and they throw it in a tumbler and let it get beat up for about a few minutes or so. And so that's how they get that look of uh, of that distressed look. And that's the same thing that they do on the We the People um, uh, 45s. 45s. If you look at the We the People, it's kind of had that distressed look. But and this one has similarly the same, and because they throw it in the tumbler. What I like about it is if you look here, this is Movin Lave, if I'm pronouncing that right. If you ever saw the movie 300, it means come and take them, meaning come and take their weapons away from him when he was having that infamous battle with the Persians. So as you see here, there's the Spartan helmet up top right here. And before this Spartan helmet on the older ones were on the previous ones were right here and with the gold inlay. But they did some changing up. So this is the next generation. So you'll see right here there's the Spartan helmet logo there, and you also see it in the grips. This is the Spartan helmet right here, and that's kind of unique. But one of the big questions is when you're dealing with any type of firearm that has some type of design in the grip, do you believe it's serviceable? And that's a good question, because a lot of times when people put like decorations or on the grips or something like that, is that grip giving you the proper grip for you during shooting? And that's, you want to make sure that this is not just a decorative piece, or does it have any purpose? Well, I can tell you from myself that it has no real grip for it. What's interesting is it's a thicker grip than some of the 1911s I have. To me, it feels a little thicker. Maybe it varies with other people, but it's kind of like almost like a palm swell. So it kind of like is out this way. It sticks out, curves out a little farther. So it gives your hand somewhat of a fullness that you feel. Now, what aids this is the lines per inch checkering on the back strap and on the front strap, and it gives you that real good grip. Now, the front checkering is aggressive. It's aggressive enough that you will not be lose your grip, as well as the back. When I was shooting this, I had no problems with losing my grip or anything of that nature. Some of the other features on here, as you see, there's a magwell here. Some I prefer when companies put out magwells on their 1911s, because then you have to go and buy other magwells and so forth. So that's kind of like a must that you have to have on in my opinion, on your 1911s, because it aids in when you want to insert the magazine, and it might add just a teeny bit for your grip. One of the other factors is this is the safety. The safety is ambidextrous, but this type of safety is it's kind of smaller than your average 1911 safety. Some people like the real thick safeties. For me, it doesn't matter as long as you train with it properly. And and I think they reduced this because this is supposed to be more of a carry firearm. So you don't want to uh, have your safety snagging on anything. Uh, Looking at this firearm again, one of the things you'll notice some people may make a complaint about is the Novak style sights. A lot of people like the other type style sights where there's a type of ledge for one hand manipulation in case of injury. But I've been using Novak style sights, and they're not bad at all. I don't have an issue, and hopefully I won't have to try to rack it off a boot or a belt or anything of that nature. But that's what people are main complaint is about these Novak style sights, and of course these are the SIG night sights. Uh, you notice there's the skeletonized hammer. The one thing about SIG, they put out the different type of hammer versus other 1911 companies such as Kimber and Dan Wesson. This is like their own style. So some people complain about this and may say this might be a mem part or whatever the case may be, and some people will change that out. If you look at the trigger is a decent trigger. You can Uh, it is a adjustable trigger. Uh, I didn't have any issues with this trigger at all. Um, it to me, it's a little heavier than other 1911 triggers I have. Maybe it needs to be broken in a little bit, but most 1911 triggers I pull are usually around 4.5 pounds, or going 4 to 4.5 pounds. This one feels like maybe about a 5 pound, creeping in between 4.5 and 5 pound. So that's one of the things I noticed. Maybe it's a break-in thing, or something that I just got to deal with. But there's not a problem with that trigger. It's just that's one of the differences. Like I have the Emperor Scorpion carry, but the trigger is different than this one. To me, that trigger is a little bit lighter. And one thing that you notice if you look at the trigger, they have SIG has their own proprietary type triggers, because if you look at it in this position, it looks like the Spartan helmet, and that's what some people call them, the Spartan helmet triggers. But these are on other SIG 1911, such as the Nightmare. One of the other things is this rail, the Picatinny rail. Now, a lot of people have problems with uh, these 1913 Picatinny rails for 1911s, because it is pretty much hard to find holsters for. But SIG works with, I believe it's a Black Point holster company, and you could either go to that company direct or go to SIG, and they do have a holster that will match this. So a lot of people have hard times getting a holster for this. I believe there are other companies out there, maybe like Safariland, that will have a holster designated for a 1911 with that rail, but from out other holster companies might not get involved with that. Uh, like I said, and another thing is with all SIGs, they have an external extractor. Some people like them because the external extractor is good. They believe it helps out in maintenance and tuning, easy maintenance and tuning, and they believe it extracts better than your traditional 1911s. I don't know how true that is. I to me, they both work. The only thing I don't like about them is I think it takes away from the the grip serrations here. Like it kind of like changes the pattern a bit, but it works. So that's all that matters. Looking further, like I said, you you look at this and it looks. I don't know if you could tell on the camera, but I think with the camera it shows a little bit of distressedness, like right here. What we would complain about, most guys, they will complain about us, about the finish being worn off or something of that nature. They say, "Oh, the finish is off." Like if you look all around here, it's distressed a bit. I mean, even right here, you can see there's some of the distressedness going in the line per inch checkering, and all around here. Well, some people will complain and say, "Oh, that looks like holster wear or whatnot." This is the look of this firearm. It's made to look like it's a little bit beat up, especially from the tumbler. Now I'm just going to get into some targets that I shot with it, and this is the first target here. This is my first shots. Uh, I just basically what I try to do is I try to see if it shoots low or high. So when I tried a 6 o'clock hold, I ended up landing down in this area. So it's basically a point of aim firearm. Um, I'm just testing at the distance. This is roughly about 7 yards. Now I'm at 7 to 10 yards, and now I'm concentrating a little bit more. Now I got an idea where to hold, and that's how I like to normally shoot. This was all grip issues right here, because and not only grip issues. I had mentioned in a previous video that I'm really concentrating on when you fire a firearm, you're not doing this, or you're not dipping. So that's one of the important things when you are firing a firearm. That grip is crucial. When you want to have your grip, you have to have that wrist lock and your support hand. A lot of people just think the support hand is just there. Your support hand is supposed to be tight, as well as the your shooting hand. And just to go further here, I'm playing around anywhere between 7 and roughly 13 yards at various speeds. When I sped up a little bit too fast, I got these lower ones over here, and uh, some similar, like I said, about grip and so forth. And I just try to keep it at an even keel. I think when I raised the firearm too high, I was shooting too high, and if I was going a little bit too low, I was going low. So too high, I figured I was actually trying to come above because of the distance went farther. But that's my mistake. Other than that, it is an excellent firearm. No malfunctions whatsoever. This is, I forget who makes these. I want to say they have a contract with, I believe maybe like Chip McCormick. I don't know. I can't confirm it, but I forget what company it is. But uh, out of all my 1911s from SIG, these have been basically flawless. All right, folks, that's all I got to say on this. I'm really loving the firearm. Um, I will say this much. Thank you for following me on my channel, and thank you for dealing with me on my 45 ACP series. So thanks a lot, and happy shooting. Stay safe. Hashtag 2A.